everyone, welcome back to our Connect groups. This is our last one for the semester and we are finishing up our series on Everyone Has a Story. And we're taking Bible stories and we're seeing how they can apply to our lives. So let's dive in. So in our life, we are all going to face some rough times. And maybe right now you don't feel that way. You haven't really gone through something that has really hurt you. But there's going to come a time in your life where things just may not seem so good. But there's a verse in the Bible that says, weeping may last for the night, but joy is coming in the morning. Night may seem dark and it feels like nothing can get better, but soon enough, the morning will come and the light will shine. Today, we're going to look at the life of Mary Magdalene.
Hello, kids! What a wonderful day it is, isn't it?
Hello, Holly. Oh, yes, it is indeed.
And it is now time for you to tell us a story.
I know!
So who are you going to tell us about today?
Today I will tell you the story of Mary Magdalene.
Okay, go on with the story, Holly.
Mary Magdalene, as we all know, was one of the most loyal followers of Jesus, and that she was the very first person to witness Jesus' resurrection. Mary Magdalene was from a town called Magdala, and that is where she gets the name Magdalene. The life of Mary Magdalene is of great dispute, and most questions about her life have still remained unanswered. However, the story goes like this. Mary Magdalene was healed by Jesus, and it is then that she became his devotee and follower. She traveled places with Jesus and his disciples to preach Jesus' teachings to the people of those places. Even when Jesus was crucified, Mary Magdalene was right next to his cross. There were other women too, but they stood and watched from a distance. They had all followed Jesus right from Galilee to look after his needs. While standing next to him during his crucifixion, she cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" She had witnessed the entire crucifixion of Jesus, his death, his burial, and his resurrection. Early on the first day of the week after Jesus' crucifixion, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb where Jesus was buried. To her surprise, she saw the stone which blocked the entrance of the tomb was removed. Seeing this, she came running to one of Jesus' disciples, Simon Peter, and cried, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they have put him." Simon Peter and Jesus' other disciples went running to the tomb with Mary Magdalene. She stood in front of the tomb and cried. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb when she saw two angels clothed in white and seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the side of the head and the other on the side of his feet. One of the angels asked her,
"Woman, why are you crying?"
"They have taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him." Saying this, when Mary Magdalene turned around, she saw Jesus standing. Jesus called out to her,
"Mary!"
She turned towards him and cried out, "Teacher!"
"Do not hold on to me, woman, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Instead, go to my brothers and tell them that I'm ascending to my Father, my God and your God."
It was Mary of Magdalene who brought the Lord's message to the disciples. "I have seen the Lord. The Lord said, 'Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me.'"
Wow, that was such an exciting story. Yes, it was.
So we don't know a whole lot about her story, but we know that Jesus stepped into her life and got rid of all the bad things that were tearing her down. Mary became someone that followed Jesus. Wherever he went, she was there. And as we saw in the video, she was even there when Jesus died on the cross. She was also there when the tomb was empty and Jesus had rose from the dead. Imagine feeling sad and angry all at the same time. It felt like it overwhelmed you and you couldn't see past how sad you were. In the midst of Mary's darkest moments, she saw Jesus and he asks, "Why are you weeping?" Mary didn't even know who it was, and she said, "Please, wherever you have taken Jesus, bring him back." All he said was, "Mary," and she knew who was talking to her. Jesus tells her he's alive, and now she is able to go and share it with the disciples. This is a story we all know because of what we celebrate during Easter. It reminds us that Jesus is a conquering king. We are everything to God. Sometimes it's hard for us to understand or even believe, and sometimes we think God's favorites are those who are nicer, are holier, they do better things. But the greatest news is that God made the world, but God also loves the world, and he loves you. When Mary saw Jesus hang on that cross and die, she thought that all hope was lost and sadness was going to overcome her. But the daylight did come and Jesus did rise from the dead. So keep coming to Jesus. Even when we face hard things, or we may feel sad or upset, or we don't understand everything that is happening in that moment, give it to him. When Mary decided to reach out, Jesus reached out to her. When we are going through things, we need to make sure we are reaching out to Jesus. Some ways to focus on him in those times where you feel like you don't understand, or you're upset, or you're sad, is to read your Bible, sing songs, talk to others that are in church, talk to your friends. Make sure you are always surrounded by the things of God so he can find you. Remember, bad things may seem like they are lasting forever, but joy always comes when we put our trust and we focus on Jesus. Let him take all those things away. I'm turning this over to your leaders to answer some questions, to think about this story, and I hope you've enjoyed this series. I hope you've enjoyed our lessons, and I can't wait for the next time.